Welcome to another video in Do-It-Yourself Easy tutorial. In our previous video, we explored how to use the Column from Examples feature. Today, we'll focus on creating an if statement in Power Query using both a conditional column and a custom column. Let's dive in and take it step by step so you can follow along comfortably as you create your own formulas. To start, we're working with a data set that contains details for 500 employees. This includes information about when they joined the company, how much they earn, the departments they belong to, and, for those in the sales department, their total sales figures. Our goal is to use Power Query to analyze and categorize this data effectively. First, let's load the data into Power Query. Right-click anywhere in the table and choose Get Data from Table or Range. Since our table has header, click My Table has headers and press OK. Power Query will open, displaying the data as a query. Take a moment to familiarize yourself with the interface. Notice that all the data columns are displayed on the screen, ready for transformation. Now, I'd like to categorize the sellers into 3 groups based on their sales performance. Sellers with 150,000 euros or more in total sales will be labeled as high performers. Those with sales between 50,000 and 149,999 euros will be categorized as moderate performers, while those with sales below 50,000 euros will be labeled as low performers. For this, we'll use 2 different methods: conditional columns and custom columns. Let's begin with the simpler approach, the conditional column. Go to the Add Column tab and select Conditional Column. When the window appears, take your time to set up the conditions one by one. The first thing you'll do is name the column. Let's call it Performance with Conditional Column. Next, set the first condition. You'll want to check if the sales value is greater than or equal to 150,000 euros. To do this, click on the drop-down menu to select the sales column, choose greater than or equal to as the operator, and type 150,000 into the value field. In the result field, enter high performer as the label. Now let's move on to the second condition. Add a new clause and set it to check for sales values greater than or equal to 50,000 euros. This time, enter moderate performer as the label. Repeat the process for sales values greater than 0 and label these as low performer. Finally, for all other values, such as employees from non-sales departments, we will leave the parameter empty and press OK. As you can see, Power Query has filled the rest of the values with null. In order to replace null with blank cell, go to Home tab, click Replace Value. In the first parameter, type null since it is the value that we want to find, and we will replace it with a blank cell. In order to do that, just leave it empty and press OK. Take a moment to scroll through the table and verify that the categories are applied correctly. Now, while this method is straightforward and quick, it doesn't allow for more advanced logic, such as combining and or conditions. For those cases, we'll need to use a custom column. Let's create the same performance categories using this method. Go back to the Add Column tab and select Custom Column. A window will open, prompting you to name the column and write a formula. Name the column Performance with Custom Column and start setting up the logic. Custom columns are case-sensitive, so be sure to write all keywords, like if and else, in lowercase. Now type if and select the available column named Sales Money in Euro, then click Insert. If you prefer, you can also type it manually. The first condition checks if the values in this column are greater than or equal to 150,000. If this is true, type then high performer. Remember, all text must be enclosed in quotation marks. Since we need to add more conditions, we can either use nested if statements or the simpler else if. In this case, we'll stick with else if. Type else if. Select the same column named Sales Money in Euro and type if the sales are greater than or equal to 50,000. Then it will be classified as moderate performer in quotation marks. If you need time to understand the formula, pause the video and analyze it once you are ready. Let's continue the next part. Add another else if condition. This time, check if the sales are greater than 0, and if true, type lower performer. Finally, for all other cases, such as departments that didn't make any sales, type else and enter quotation marks. This will give blank cells. Once you've completed the logic, click OK. As you can see, the new column has been created using your formula, and it categorizes the data based on the conditions we defined. Now let's try with an AND statement. Let's say we want to assign bonuses to employees who have been with the company for 10 years or more and are also high performers. To do this, we'll need to create a custom column. Start by going to the Add Column tab and selecting Custom Column. First, let's name our new column. For this example, I'll simply call it Bonus. Now, since both conditions must be true, we'll structure the formula accordingly. Begin by typing if join year, which you can find in the list of available columns. Insert it and then type greater than or equal to 10. Next, add the AND statement, followed by the second condition. This checks if the performance column, which we created in our previous example, is equal to high performer. Make sure the text matches exactly as you used it before, including capitalization and spaces. If these two conditions are true, then open quotations and type yes and close quotations mark. Then type else, and for any other value open quotations and type no and close quotations and click. Okay, now if you filter the new column for entries marked yes, you'll see that only a few people meet both conditions and are entitled to this bonus. We've successfully identified who qualifies for the bonus. Let's move on to the next example. Finally, in our last example, we'll use the OR statement to assign bonuses based on departments. In this scenario, employees from the IT or finance departments will receive bonus A, while those in HR or marketing will receive bonus B. Anyone else, such as members of the sales team, will not receive a bonus. To achieve this, we'll use a custom column. Start by navigating to the Add Column tab in Power Query and selecting Custom Column. Let's name this new column Bonus for other departments to make its purpose clear. Now let's move on to entering the formula. Begin by typing the first condition. If the department is equal to Finance, or if the department is equal to IT. These departments will receive bonus A. To define this condition, start by typing if, then select the column named Department by either double-clicking it or using the Insert button. Add the logical operator OR and specify that the department is equal to IT. When this condition is met, type the result as bonus A. Next, let's add an additional condition to account for the HR and marketing departments. To do this, type else if, followed by the condition. If the department is equal to HR, or if it's equal to marketing. When this condition is satisfied, specify the result as bonus B. Finally, handle all remaining departments by using the else statement. For this case, leave the result blank by simply typing quotation marks with no space inside them, which Power Query interprets as an empty or blank cell. Once you've finished writing the formula, take a moment to review it carefully, ensuring that all conditions and results are defined correctly. When you're satisfied, press OK to apply the changes. And just like that, you've successfully assigned bonuses based on department categories. Each condition is now properly accounted for, making the data clear and organized. Finally, let's close and load our query into the worksheet. Go to Home tab and click Close and Load. That's it for today's tutorial. Remember, the key to mastering these tools is consistent practice. So, take your time, explore the options, and familiarize yourself with creating custom columns like this one. In our next video, we'll dive into calculating averages and sums using custom columns, a slightly different approach compared to traditional Excel formulas. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please consider supporting my small channel by liking this video and subscribing for more helpful content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.